Yes, bless. Let's get this show on the road. Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning motivation time. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Mark Saint, and I feel great. Every morning I get up and I touch my life a little bit. I get on this live and I talk about life and I talk about love and how we live in. So this morning is no different. This morning I posted it just like my dad. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that phrase. You're just like your father, you know? And my dad's a super asshole, so I guess that means I'm a super asshole, and admitting it or knowingly, I know I'm an asshole. I know assholes live forever, but they also hurt forever too. And as I grew up and started to establish myself as my own man, I saw a lot of carryover. And I was reading this article about work and how people kind of try dating at where they work and how they carry over their habits. Oh yeah, that felt good. And that carryover is like a spillover, right? It's almost like the cup that you came in, it spilled over a little bit on the plate. There's a little teacup, and then there's the plate that the teacup came on. You're the plate. You're the spillover from your parents, whether you like it or not. Literally, both people are your genetic identification. Like, it took both your parents to combine their DNA to make the miracle that you are. And beyond the adaptation of the DNA was the environment and the habits too. And over here at Saints Addiction, I'm always talking about habits. I'm always talking about correcting what in the two pair of socks is going on here. Oh, I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do, throw this away or what. But when we develop ourselves, right, we model our behavior, like all mammals, to our parents. We can become racist, we can become angry, we can become obese simply because our parents are. And we might not identify that right away. And most, like, I'll see a lot of girls that look just like their moms. Like, the mom is the older version of the daughter, and just the tits are sagging, the butt's sagging. But same but different. I mean, they just look so much alike. And we've all seen genetics, because we're not unaware of genetics, not only in plants but also in animals, and how we have developed. And that's this whole point of this morning's conversation, as I realized that I had developed some bad habits from my father. I had developed this ability to cut people off. Oh my God, it's so cute. I don't know if you can see it, but that little boy is as small as the dog. They look like two stick figures on the horizon playing. How cool is that? And that's where I had to find myself on track. I found myself responding to people a way that was kind of antisocial, and to realize that my father was an antisocial person too. He would cut people off. I remember distinctly packing up one of the roommates' stuff in black plastic bags and putting it out in the curb, or taking it down the street, or all sorts of weird shit going on around me in my childhood. And I realized that I too started to learn that I would cut people off, right? Like, I didn't like the way things were, I just cut somebody off. I stopped responding to them, I ignored them, I blocked them. And this is fucking way before there was even a block button. Just started cutting people off. Like, instead of communicating, that's not what I was taught. My father didn't teach me communication. He didn't teach me empathy. Matter of fact, he taught me rejection. Matter of fact, we don't even talk right now. He still rejects me. And what's really weird is I'll do the same to other people, not wanting to be like my father. Distinctly, when I was a kid, has now turned me into an adult that's exactly like him. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I remember being a kid, hating my dad, being like, I'll never be like that. I always treat people better. And when I'm older, you know, well, first of all, there's a lot of murder in my talk. I'm gonna just be playing with y'all. I was like, I'm gonna kill my dad. And that's kind of crazy to talk, but my dad was just so abusive and so controlling and so mean that when we were kids, it was just like, it's time to overthrow the king. It was just like, instead of long live the king, it was like, it's my job to replace this king. It's my job to not have children when I was 19, 17, like he had. Plastic Pocket Challenge, not get married early and have children with someone that would divorce me and create chaos and anarchy in my life, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I didn't think I was like that, right? I didn't think I was addicted like that. My dad would tell you he's a workaholic, fuckaholic, sexaholic, alcoholic, used to be an alcoholic. And I don't know if you see this, but like, I got a buddy that's, man, I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 8, just on the nicotine, man. He's just a little fiend, a little cigarette rat. And he's gnawing on his nicotine, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't see that he's just like his mom too. Going to the store, I gotta get my mom Paul Malls. I gotta get her some cigarettes. And I'm thinking, you mean you gotta get you some cigarettes? Hear me now, feel me now. I'll tell you what, my parents first started dating, my dad goes with my mom to go pick up some beers for my grandpa and some cigarettes. My dad's like, I'll go. Lo and behold, he needed to get some chew and some brew for himself too. And I was just like, this is the story of my life, that my mom's sitting at this grocery aisle. Many a times we've been at our grocery aisle and didn't identify. My mom didn't even identify that she's dating her father. Here's this new man in her life, and he's also on the alcohol and tobacco. There's an alcohol, tobacco, firearms division. This is such a bipolar addiction. Let me go this way. I don't want to be next to all these kids. And we don't even see it that way. Isn't that crazy? We don't even see that we are dating our parents, right? We didn't even see that we are following those patterns. And this carryover, this spillover, this tip me over and pour me out has been poured upon me. I'm not just on to coffee, that would be like my mom, but the pattern of both of them, to be addicts. My mom loves her coffee and loves her cigarettes and pairs them together every morning and kills her health. And I'm just shocked at it. And I go, what the fuck, dude? I quit cigarettes. I didn't start smoking till I was 30 years old. And I was just trying to figure out what it was all about. They started mixing it with the weed. And it dawned on me that I became quickly addicted, like almost like from the first puff, that I was quickly addicted to the nicotine. And I'm like, wow, man, when you can feel something pull at you in such a strong pull, you're wondering if it's pulling you towards your gene pool. If it's pulling you closer to the tobacco that was in my ancestors' genetics, and maybe into slavery and touching the tobacco and getting the nicotine into their pores. They say that you can get tobacco poisoning just by rolling cigars. I know a lot of the old cigar rollers, especially in Cuba, New Orleans, all these places, they would get tobacco poisoning from touching the leaf for too long. I mean, it just absorbs into your skin. It is such a invasive species, like it's just so addictive. And that's where I had to reel myself in and go, okay, I'm being an addict, bro. Like, I'm being just like my parents, just like these people following me, just like these people staring at me. I am not alone. Right? This is a human scenario. It's not something that just happened to me. It's happening to we, right? We are a sum of our results from our parents. We don't want to acknowledge it. It's kind of hard to say this person that irritated me so much and infuriated me so much and I felt inferior to this person is now a direct representation of me. That's me. I started looking at it. It's like, not only does my nose look like my mom, and I got the mole like my mom, and my brother's got the mole too, and all that other stuff. Where's my mole? Oh, it's up here. The mole came from my mom, came from my grandma. It's genetics. And I don't necessarily see myself as a mole person. I don't see myself when I'm talking to someone, there's a mole on the right side of my face, there's a mole on the right side of my face. Moly, 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 guacamole. I don't feel that at all. Like, I don't feel like it's an ugly mole. I feel like more like it's like a beauty mark, and it's just on me like a freckle. I don't acknowledge it, but it shouts through me. I'm sure when people are staring at me, they're like, whoa, what a beard, but what's up with that mole? It's distinctive, and it's the distinct quality that I got from my parents. You get what I'm saying? I got it from my mom. I got it from my mama, And just like you get your genetics from these people, you'll get your habits from them too. And that's the crazy part. It's like take two. If you're being a director of your life, if you hit take two action, I got cut action. Now you're a stunt double for your parents. You jump in, and now you're doing all the same dangerous tricks of how much alcoholism can I swallow. I quit drinking. My father quit drinking. He doesn't know this, but I already kind of slow quit drinking, but I'm like, if my dad's gonna do it, I can do it. And I stopped smoking cigarettes because I was trying to take Tasha, and I knew she was just a spiritual chick that there was just no way she was gonna date me if I was smoking cigarettes. So, motivation, what motivates us to change our habits might not be the same as genetics, right? It might not be the same kind of pull that you're feeling. I didn't feel the pull of tobacco on me till I was 30. Like, I literally just didn't get something pulling towards me that made me do something I didn't necessarily want to do. And that's something that we all end up doing. And we're like, how did I end up having mental issues like my mom? How did I end up being an alcoholic like my dad? How did I end up being abusive like my father? How did these incidences that scared me as a child, my dad on top of my mom choking on her, scaring me, calling 911, and now all of a sudden I'm grabbing on my ex-girl, scaring her? What the fuck came through me? That moment has shaken me to my core for the past year of why did I respond that way? And why am I that way? And what does it take to be away from other people, to get some privacy, to get some clarity, and to see, to step back from our habits long enough to see ourselves, long enough to see our patterns. And that's the hugest part, and go, holy shit, dude, I'm a pattern person. I'm a mammal. I try so hard to keep my patterns the same. I don't go for anything different. I'm stuck in my ways. And that's why I say, just like my father or just like my dad. I've heard it so many times, you're just like your dad. And I'm like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean? And I'm sure he would respond the same way. What the fuck's that supposed to mean? Like on some chin check, aggressive, abusive, say right off the tip of their tongue, super sharp, like a fucking snake, right there to fucking bite your ass. And you're just like, ouch, tell us how you really feel. No holds barred, no punches pulled, just straight punch, punchity, punch, punch, punch. Straight flowers in the middle of the garden, straight us trying to figure each other out. Straight fucking energy, bro. Come on, loud ass truck, put that energy out there. That's what it feels like. Your ancestry flowing through your veins, bro. Calling out your name. And my grandpa, who's long gone and dead, I asked my grandma, I said, what was he like? And she was like, oh, he was hella opinionated, and he would call up our friends and tell them about how to vote and his opinions on voting. And he scared away all our friends with his political rants. And I was like, oh, what? I didn't know that about my grandfather. I was 10 when he died. I didn't know that dude at all. Next thing I know, I survived him, and I'm also a Taurus just like him. I'm also the patriarch of my family, the one that's supposed to lead us into the future. And that's why it was so much on me for having children, that I put a lot of pressure on myself. I put a lot of pressure on my lover too, and that pressure spilled over. Much like a pressure cooker, it's to get into the depths of the chicken, like we're trying to get into the meat of the scenario. And if you really know what you're made out of, what your meat, your metal, Then you start to go, okay, oh shit, okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing a pattern that keeps developing by me, through my parents, through my environment, and now I'm here exactly like them. Accent, looks, reactions, holy shit. And that's why I posted this morning and said, do you find yourself, when things get stressful, do you find yourself shutting down or stepping up? Do you find yourself keeping the calm and finding a way, or do you become irritable and become what's the word, more than irritable, the word I'm looking for is stressed. You become stressed, and now you're acting just like your parents. You know what I mean? And that's where I started to realize, oh shit, man, when I become manic, I'm just like my mother. All bards are off. No holds barred. What the fuck was I saying? No holds barred of how you're going to get treated. You're going to get told about yourself. You're going to get belittled. You're going to get yelled at. It's very aggressive. It's very demeaning, and it's abusive. And as I've been growing up, spending this time with my mom, licking my wounds and healing myself, going through this grief process of losing a child unwantingly, spending time with my mom, I started to see the abuse, and I called her out on it. And, as a person that pretended to be a victim of my father's abuse, she too was abusive. And that's why I said, oh my God, that's too cute. Look at this little baby motorcycle by the regular motorcycle. How cute is that? Yeah, no, the abuse was real, and I started to carry over, and maybe people didn't know that, but you feel like, and I learned this from my mama, that I could just say whatever the fuck I wanted to say. As long as I was irritated, you were gonna get a piece of me. You were gonna get a piece of the pie, a couple slices, and some side of fucking ice cream. People be handing it to you. Fuck around, find out. And then I found out my people's psychotic. They will argue at the police station. My parents could not get along when they were getting divorced. They would argue about switching us and our, what do you call that when you switch kids' times, and I don't know, visitation rights. They couldn't even switch the kids off for a visitation peacefully without having to be at a police officer's unit, like at the fucking not the post office, but the police station, because they just couldn't play right. My mom could easily run. Well, she run my foot over when I was a kid, being all mad at my dad, not paying attention. They could run each other over. They could stab each other. They could choke each other. They could never talk to each other. I mean, this is my parents to a T. And I don't know if your parents are the same way, but exhibiting this behavior has drizzled onto me. Saying to somebody, you know what, you can go now because you've been dismissed. I've been dismissive to people. I have been forgotten of. Any kind of good that they've done to me or in my life goes right out the window as soon as I feel irritated by them, and their value goes right back down to zero. That's my dad all day. You can fucking win state championships and he's just not impressed, right? College graduation, lost all my photos. Like, this dude has almost been my enemy my whole life. Watching me play when I was at or me and my siblings watching us play on the playground when we were kids. You think you're just getting dropped off and just go play. No, my dad was watching us. My dad was making sure we weren't assholes, but he was being an asshole to us. I can't tell you the last time my father told me he loved me, that he was proud of me, that I did a good job. These things that now make me an overachiever. Now I'm looking for doing festivals and traveling the world and making 5 different fucking brands, and it's still not enough. And then you end up chasing. Now I got daddy issues. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, my daddy issues is like, I gotta be impressive. I gotta show people that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I gotta outwork them. I gotta keep doing a lot of hours and do impressive things, and just so my daddy would be proud of me. Like, do you know how weird that is, that we do those kind of things? And we do things so that our parents could be proud of us? That's what kind of world I'm living in, bro. I'm living in that world where I'm going to be impressive to me, bro, without the habits trickling in or the responsive rate. It's fucking hot out here. Yesterday was so cold. Rise and shine, boys and girls. Rise and shine. Woo. It's the LVOG. Oh shit, my pen just fell out. LVOG, baby. LVOG, the Las Vegas original. Let's get it going, shall we? Got this pen. Let me get some morning motivation in. But, you know, being just like my dad, I realized my weaknesses, the weaknesses in this man to be not being able to communicate with me. That's a weakness, you know. No matter what people do to you, even if they're on death row, they still get their last words. You still have communication. And I don't know if you're communicating with yourself or your parents, but to find this elevation. I don't know if you even have a relationship with people, your parents enough to go, I see me and you and me, you know, and can we agree that this is no longer serving us as a family, that this is no longer coming up as something effective, but as a demerit or something that's being dejected in our lives, something that's not being effective at all. And I mean, I don't know how many things you hold on to, what patterns you hold on to, but have you ever grabbed your patterns by the balls or the scruff of the neck and said, hey, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you in front of me? Why are you inside of me? Why do I keep going towards my cigarettes? Why do I keep going towards food? Why do I keep going towards sex? Why are these itches, these fixes that are itches, you know, like a little in the middle of the back? Why is that the same as my dad? Why is that the same as my mom? Why am I such a food slut? You know, why do I just run to food and think it's going to comfort me? Why am I still on sugar just like my mom? I'll eat the same stuff, some red meat, some ice cream, some snacks. You know, I'm almost eating the same damn meals as my mom. And I'm like, I've developed the same palate, the same hunger, the same pattern, dude. And I was shocked at myself. I said, what am I doing? Why am I like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I keep pulling it out of my ass? And I think it's like original to me, but I'm not the original. I'm the remix, bro. I'm the remix. I'm same, but different, bro. I'm similar to my dad, but I look nothing like him. But I definitely act like him. And that scared me. I didn't like that. You know, like I said, I wanted to kill my dad. And everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you said that again. Yeah, when I was young, I had murderous thoughts. I was like, this dude's so abusive, dude. As soon as I'm strong enough to fight this dude, I will. And when I turned 15, I did. I pinned him up against the truck, his own truck, because I had been wrestling. And he realized that I not only was bigger than him all of a sudden, but I was stronger than him all of a sudden. And the power had shifted. Not only was I getting kicked out at 16 out of my own fucking house, or it's not mine, it's his, right? I'm not a part of the family. I'm somebody that can be cut out. I'm the black sheep. Welcome to the black sheep, baby. I'm the black sheep of my family. And as somebody that's learned from everybody else, been the firstborn, you know, had to deal with all the situations and circumstances, raised up with these people, because it wasn't like they just came out of nowhere. No, I gotta learn with them. They were 20, going on 30 and 40 when I was growing up. My 20 years was their 20 years. You know, being their 20s to 40s, that's some transformative time. That's growth. That's your main drag as a human being. And I'm also becoming a kid growing up with these younger folks that were just becoming adults. And I started to learn their ways of hard work, their ways of determination. She starts waving at me every day now, by the way. So cool. Their ways of compensating in life, their ways for placating, and their ways of patterns. And that's all I had to figure out, was just like, what's up with this pattern that I'm holding? Why do I find it so hard to bond with people? Why am I always ready to push people away and just cut them off? Because I know one day it'll be cut off. Doesn't matter if you pretend to love me, really love me. One day this is going to end. One day you're going to kill my child. One day you're going to leave me. One day you're going to ignore me. Why should I put my energy into this pot knowing that it's going to spill over? And then that's where I end up learning my bad habits, not trusting people. Very hard for me to be in love, very hard for me to trust, very hard for me not to break trust. Something my father would do at any moment, just be like, yeah, these are your parents and they're supposed to love you, but even them, they can kick you out. They can block you from family events. I've been extra communicated, bro. My family doesn't call me. They call my brother's girlfriend. Hey, it's time to go to Disneyland. Family goes to Disneyland. Wait, I'm part of the family. I'm the oldest, right? Nope. You go to my dad's house, there's no photos of me. There's no evidence of this awesome person that's shining in the light right now. There's no evidence of me. I've been deleted. I've been uninvited. I've been excommunicated, you know? And if it's fine, then anybody else that wants to be Saints Addiction and be honest about being a black sheep and not getting along with their family and starting to have trust issues from these people that you're supposed to trust. So it's just one of those things that it's bled onto me. You know, I'd like to think that it's shaken out of me and that I can do better. I know I can do better. That's what I strive to do. Strive to have better responses, work on my reactions, not bite into my habits and keep chewing on those fucking habits. I just watched an episode. It was a thing for cocaine bear, right? This bear is in the wild, comes across a fucking whole kilo and ends up being nothing but skin and bones and a pelt when they find it, dead by the coke. But that's the reason I'm telling you this is why am I telling you this? Because I mean, he's chasing the habit too. It's so funny that we just think that we're mammals. Here's a wild animal that went and only now they never experienced addiction before. They only ate nuts and berries, and then all of a sudden it's on this drug and it's chasing this drug, and it stopped chasing meals and it started chasing people, right? Like it started becoming this other one turns into a horror movie, and the thing's like a wild bear that is a CGI bear, but the real bear, I mean, can you imagine that that's all you can do is you stop your natural pattern of living in the wild, you come across some drugs, and now all you can do is come back to this one pile. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep looking for coke and chasing, and you forget to eat, and it was nothing but skin and bones left. Like they always say, skin and bones left, because that's what we leave. We left our destiny, we left our decency, and our way to decipher what the fuck is reality. That's what ends up happening. Come on, energy. That's that shit I'm talking about, bro. It's the energy inside of me that I have to find it, right? I have to align it. I have to be myself to guide it and say, okay, dude, that's a pattern. That's destructive. That's self-sabotage. And for me to be able to talk to myself, know thyself, know my parents, know the outcome, I can be a change. I can be the guy that doesn't keep chasing the same bag. I don't have to repeat and become Mark Jr. or Mark 2.0. No, I'm Francis Mark St. Arnaud the 6th. And my son will be Francis Mark St. Arnaud the 7th, lucky number 7. And God willing, I will have a child. And maybe I did fuck up this last one, and I own it. I still have to survive on this planet and disown my patterns. You know, I have to disown these habits that have dictated me, my addictions that have dictated to me somewhere between my genetics and my future, you know, that you're going to be this way. And I was just like, you know what? What if I want to be better? What if I feel like I deserve better? You know, and not just happiness. Happiness comes and goes. That's fleeting. You know, we're not supposed to be happy all the time. How'd the book say? 95% happy, you know, because it's not always sustainable. But what is sustainable are habits, right? Picking the right habits can become sustainable. You can sustain yourself for a longer time on healthier habits than these destructive habits. And that's the preach of this morning, the reach, preach, and teach, is to say, hey, if I'm going to stay committed to these things, like I said, Saints Addiction, if I'm going to chase cocaine like the bear, how about I chase shirts and my dreams? My friend said, I knew you would account to be something. I knew you'd become something awesome. And I was just posting my stickers videos, you know, stickers in an hour. But what I told her is I turn my addiction into my passion. I churned these patterns around so that they started working for me and not against me. And it's made all the difference in my life. So if you ever get a chance to capture yourself in the moment and see your patterns and see what you've become, you probably are a lot like your parents. You're probably a lot like your environment, and you're probably more aware than you're giving yourself credit for. That's on my heart from the start. It's your boy Marky Saint, Saints Addiction, the LVOG, out here, we out here, and you're out there too, in your mind, and you're the only one listening, so be kind and talk to yourself differently so you can get different results. Peace and love, and as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, subscribe. Ciao. Bello. Beijos. I'll see you. Peace.